Hi folks, HR Funk here. During most of the time that I've been shooting defensive handguns, conventional wisdom has held that full-size or duty-size handguns allow a higher degree of practical accuracy than the similar compact version of those same handguns. Reason being, the larger duty-size handguns typically have a longer barrel, which affords a greater sight radius. That allows the shooter a greater degree of precision when acquiring the sight and getting the proper sight picture, and then those shots can be placed more precisely. With the smaller handguns, the shorter sight radius doesn't allow quite that level of precision, so all of this shows up on the target as the larger handgun being more accurate, more practically accurate I'm talking about, not mechanical accuracy. If we put both handguns in a machine rest, the accuracy might be very close to the same. But when actually shooting them from a shooting stance, usually on target, the handgun with the longer barrel and longer sight radius will allow the shooter a higher degree of practical accuracy. So I was thinking about this recently in the modern age where the use of handgun optics are becoming more and more common, and I thought, I wonder if the larger handguns still afford a greater degree of practical accuracy than the smaller handguns when both of them are outfitted with optical sights. I decided to put that to the test, and that's going to be the subject of this video. So the first thing I had to do while devising this test was come up with a pair of handguns that were close enough in design that it would allow an apples-to-apples comparison of all things other than the size of the handguns. What I decided to use was my full-size IWI MSADA and my compact IWI MSADA 9S, or MSADA Slim. These handguns, with only minor differences, are virtually identical except for their size, and they're both outfitted, as you can see, with optics. And I'll give you a close-up of these in just a moment. Now you might be thinking at this point, well, if nothing is different and they're both outfitted with optics and you're shooting them through any sort of a defensive drill, there's probably going to be little or no difference because everything is going to be the same. The larger handgun still has a larger full-size grip, which may allow for a greater degree of controllability while shooting, and that might show up on the target. That's what I wasn't sure about. And I really didn't know going into this test whether I was going to see greater accuracy with the full-size duty handgun or greater accuracy, or at least the same level of accuracy, with the smaller, more compact version. Now, there are other advantages, obviously, for the full-size handgun for duty use for law enforcement officers or armed security or whatever. Obviously, it has a full capacity magazine as opposed to the reduced capacity magazine in the smaller handgun. As I mentioned a moment ago, it has a full-size grip for a little bit better pointability and controllability, etc. But otherwise, I just wasn't sure when I shot these through defensive drills if I was going to see a greater degree of practical accuracy one way or the other, even though this still is going to be a better choice for duty use and this still is going to be a better use for CCW. But let's take a close-up look at these two handguns and we'll see just how much difference there is in their size. So I've done my best to line up the back of the slide of the full-size MSADA and the MSADA Slim, and there is about 7/10 of an inch difference in the length of the barrel. The MSADA has a 4.1 inch barrel. The MSADA 9S has a 3.4 inch barrel. So almost or just shy of 3/4 of an inch difference in the barrel length. And you can see the difference in sight radius here. So if I was shooting both of these handguns sans optic, I would expect the full-size pistol to have an advantage when it comes to practical accuracy. But again, as you can see, both of these are outfitted with an optic. The full-size MSADA has a Hilux TD3C, which uses a circle dot reticle. It has a 32-minute of angle circle around, I believe, a 2-minute of angle dot. I really like this sight because it is very fast and easy for me to pick up when I'm shooting drills. The 9S, as you see, is outfitted with a mechanic sight. This does not have the large 32 MOA circle, but it does have, I believe, a 2-minute of angle dot, and I found it to be a very accurate and reliable sight on the 9S. The only other advantage the full-size handgun might have when firing multiple shots is it's a little bit heavier, and again, that might aid in that controllability and shootability, which may show up on the target. We'll find that out when we get to those drills. So after selecting the handguns for my test, the next thing I had to do was come up with a testing protocol so I could assess their performance and determine whether or not there was any advantage in practical accuracy for one handgun or the other. I decided to use 4 different defensive drills. 3 of those are going to be fired from a distance of 7 yards, which is the ubiquitous combat distance or defensive distance that is used for a lot of defensive shooting. The final drill I'm shooting from a distance of 15 yards to add a little bit of long range into the shooting. Not that 15 yards is extremely long range, but it's obviously more than twice the 7-yard distance that I'm shooting the other drills from. Again, with a full-size handgun, I would expect, especially at distance, if I was not using optics, to have an advantage for the longer sight radius as opposed to the shorter sight radius on the smaller handgun. So that's why I wanted to throw in a longer range stage. The drills that I'm going to be using from 7 yards are controlled pairs. I'll fire 3 of those with each handgun. Failure drills, I'll fire 3 of those with each handgun. I'm going to be firing a one-handed ambidextrous drill with each firearm, so I'll be firing 3 rounds right hand only into the target and 3 rounds left hand only into the target to see if that controllability shows up when I'm doing that sort of a drill that's a little bit different, especially when I'm shooting with my non-dominant hand. And finally, I'll be shooting that longer range stage, which will consist of 5 rounds into the body of the target from that distance of 15 yards. Next, I had to come up with a way to score the performance of my 2 handguns, and I decided to use this target from my target sponsor, Targets Online. Go there, check out their inventory, see if they have anything that's going to meet your target needs. With this target, any shots striking inside this center square will receive 3 points. Shots striking outside the center square, but in this next larger square, will receive 2 points. Any shots striking on the silhouette outside of the scoring rings will receive 1 point, and shots striking completely off the silhouette receive 0 points. Shots fired at the head are scored similarly. Any shots striking the spine or this center brain area will receive 3 points. Shots outside of the center brain area but inside of this circle receive 2 points. And shots striking the head outside of this circle will receive 1 point. Again, any shots completely missing the head receive 0 points. If shots break the scoring line, they receive the next higher scoring value. So I'm going to keep track of this through the drills as I shoot them, and we'll look at the overall score at the end. The ammunition for today's test was provided courtesy of House of Pain Munitions, and this is their 147 grain 9mm poly-coated load, and this has a lot of advantages for practice use, beginning with the fact it's more economical than brass-cased ammunition. This load features a polymer-coated bullet, and it's completely encapsulated by that polymer, so it reduces the shooter's exposure to lead. Also, if you're shooting steel, you have less jacket material that's going to be coming back at you off of those targets. And right now, House of Pain is offering a special with this ammunition that is something I think probably should be done by a lot of companies. They're offering ammunition subscriptions. You can go to the House of Pain website and sign up for the frequency of ammunition, which could be once a month, twice a month, or whatever, and the quantity of ammunition you would like to receive. And when you do that, it locks you in. So it locks in the price, and it also locks in your quantity that you're guaranteed to get at whatever frequency you want. Now keep this in mind going into this election year, folks, that if the right politician says the right thing and all of a sudden ammunition evaporates off the shelves and whatever you can find out there, the price has skyrocketed. If you have an ammunition subscription from House of Pain, your ammunition will continue coming to you right to your front door, no going to the store, no standing in line, no nothing like that. And it will be at whatever price was established when you started your subscription. So for more information to that, go to House of Pain. If you subscribe for the ammunition, it knocks 5% off the listed price. And here's the best part. If you At checkout, put in my discount code. That'll save you another 5%. So between the 5% for the subscription and the 5% for my discount code, you get 10% off the price for some pretty darn good ammunition, and you'll get to see how it performs in the test today. So with the handguns selected and the test protocols established, let's head out to the range and see how things went. As I said, the first drill when I got there and got everything set up was controlled pairs from a distance of 5 yards, and here's what it looked like. Folks, before we discuss the results from that first series of controlled pairs, I want to make a quick comment about my shot tempo in these drills. I am not shooting these drills as fast as I can possibly shoot them. I'm firing them as fast as I feel I can accurately place shots on target. I could fire them faster, but to do so would be essentially to spray and pray, and we cannot afford to do that in any sort of a defensive setting. So keep that in mind as you're watching me shoot my way through the remainder of the drills. And now let's take a look at those results from the controlled pairs. And here are the targets showing the results of those two drills. The full-size MSADA is the target on your right. The MSADA Slim, or the 9S, is the target on your left. Starting off with the full-size MSADA, I have marked the shot holes for both targets with these black stickers. They might be kind of hard to see on this target, so I'll try to get you a close-up so you can see them a little bit easier. But the full-size MSADA has 5 shots inside this center square, and 1 shot that is in the next larger square, so it dropped 1 point on those 3 controlled pairs for a score of 17 points. The MSADA 9S shot a very impressive group all the way around. The score on these two is exactly the same. The 9S has 4 shots that are in a group that I could probably almost cover up with a quarter. 1 shot just broke the line down here at the bottom to make it a 3-shot score, and 1 shot is just outside the 3-shot line into the 2 shots. So both handguns on that drill scored 17 points. So we started off with a tie. Let's move on to the failure drills and see how the handguns did in those. And here are the results of those failure drills, starting again with the full-size pistol. The full-size pistol had good body shots. 3 of them are inside the center square, but 3 of them made it outside the center square, so it dropped 3 points with those body shots. I've got 2 shots that are in this center brain area. This one is more or less on the lower part of the spine. Still fine neutralizing shot. 1 of them made it just outside of the center brain area into the larger circle, so there's 1 point that this full-size pistol gives up there. So it achieved a score of 23 out of a possible 27 on those failure drills. Moving over to the 9S had a pretty impressive performance. All of the body shots are inside the center square. Again, that's a nice tight group. In fact, all 6 of those are on the heart of this target. 2 of the shots that you see here are in the center brain area. 1 of them made it just outside into the larger circle, which is the only thing that kept the 9S from getting a perfect score on this particular drill. So as it is, it achieved a score of 26 out of a possible 27 on this drill. Now let's move on and take a look and see how each handgun did when I was shooting them one hand only. I'll start out firing the drills with my right hand only. Then I'll fire the same drill with my left hand only with both handguns, and we'll see how they do. And I've got the results from those one-hand shots marked with 2 different colors. By the way, I forgot to mention the last time around, the failure drills I marked with the green stickers. I would imagine you figured that out when I was going through the score. But for the shots that I fired right hand only on this drill, I marked them with the light blue stickers. And for the shots that I fired left hand only, I marked them with the dark blue or almost purple color stickers. With the full-size pistol, right hand only, I have 2 really good heart shots. Both of them are worth 3 points. One of them made it out here into the lung, so that's a 2-point shot. So with my right hand only on the full size, I have a score of 8 points. Left hand only, I have 1 good 3-point hit right here, and then 2 of them made it out here into the left lung, so those are both worth 2 points for a score of 7 points, left hand only with the full-size pistol. Right hand only with the 9S, I've got 3 good shots right here, all in the heart, all in that 3-point area. So that is a perfect score of 9 points for the 9S, right hand only. Left hand only, I've got 1 good heart shot and then 2 that made it out here into the left lung are a little bit low. So those are worth 2 points each for a score of 7 points. For the next stage, I'm going to back off. I have to walk around Chewy as I do this. For the next stage, I'm going to back off to a distance of 15 yards. And from that distance, I'm just going to come up and fire 5 shots into the body as fast as I feel that I can accurately place my shots with each handgun. And here's what it looks like. And the results of the 15-yard shooting I marked with the red stickers. And with the full-size MSADA, I've got 1 shot in the center 3-point area. I've got 1, 2, 3 shots in the 2-point area, most of which are in this right lung, and 1 shot made it out here into the shoulder into the 1-point area. All that adds up to a score of 10 points for the full-size pistol from that 15-yard distance. With the 9S, I've got 2 shots that are in the 3-point area. I've got 2 shots that are in the 2-point area. One of them just clipped the end of the heart. The other one is dead center in the right lung. And then one of them made it out here just into the 1-point area, although caught the lung. So that's a score for the 9S of 11 on that drill from 15 yards. So I'm going to total these up. I can already tell you that the 9S came out with the higher score, but I want to make a couple of other comments about this as well. So here are the final standings for my 2 contestants. If we total up the possible score for all those drills, there is a total possible score of 78 points. The full-size MSADA achieved a score of 65 points, and the MSADA 9S achieved a score of 70 points. So with the thing that I was looking at initially as to whether or not there is a significant difference or advantage, maybe I should say, for a full-size handgun when it comes to practical accuracy in defensive shooting, I would say based on the results of this, the answer is no. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, there are still some other advantages to the full-size handgun. The longer barrel gives better ballistics, again, better controllability, higher magazine capacity, and all of that. But if we are just looking at practical accuracy, it seems to be that use of an optics pretty well negates the advantage that used to be present with the longer sight radius on the larger handgun. Something else that I wanted to mention, and you might have picked up on this if you were watching closely as I was shooting my way through the drills, I was shooting faster with the full-size pistol than I was shooting with the 9S. That's not because I was trying to shoot faster with the large pistol and slower with the smaller pistol. The difference was in the sight. And we can also see something interesting on the targets. Since the TD3C reticle in the larger pistol has that large 32 minute of angle circle around the small 2 minute of angle dot, I pick it up very, very quickly and I'm able to start pressing the trigger to get shots on target. With the 9S, the mechanic sight just has the single 2 minute of angle dot, no big circle around it. So when I come up with it, I need to move it sometimes to find the dot and get it to where I need it to be on the target. Interestingly, when I look at the two targets and the scores on the two targets, if you just look at the group size, you can see the group overall with the full-size pistol is bigger. And of course, the score is a little bit lower. And I think that's because although I'm picking up that larger reticle with the circle dot faster, it doesn't give me quite the degree of precision that I get with the single small dot on the MSADA 9S. And again, if you look at this group, you can see that it is smaller as I was shooting the 9S as opposed to the full-size MSADA. But since I come up and have to find that dot, even though I get greater precision with the single dot on the smaller 9S, it takes me longer to get my shots on target. Now, it's not an extraordinarily long time, but it is longer. So what is more important in defensive shooting? Is it more important to get our shots on target fast and have them accurate enough? Or is it more important to have just a little bit more time to take to get shots on target and get a higher degree of precision? Now that's an age-old debate, and it's not one that we're going to settle here today, because in some circumstances it might be absolutely important to get the shots on target as fast as you can and have them be accurate enough. In other circumstances, it might be more important to take a little bit more time to get your shots on target and be able to place a more precise shot on your target. So I found this to be interesting, and it really went beyond the scope of what I was looking at in this test, but this is something I might be looking at moving into the future and trying to see if we can come up with a way to maybe answer that question about speed versus accuracy. And of course, the old adage, and I agree with this, by the way, is that speed is fine, but accuracy is final. You can't miss fast enough to win a gunfight. But obviously, with both of these handguns, the accuracy level that I'm achieving is adequate for defensive purposes in the drills as I was shooting them. So neither one of these really concerned. I'm not looking at either one of these thinking, oh geez, I got to quit carrying that particular handgun. I have to quit carrying the big pistol because I am not getting the accuracy I want, or I got to quit carrying the small pistol because it takes too long to get my shots on target. I don't feel that way at all. But I found this all to be interesting. It was, as I said, beyond the scope of the drills or the experiment that I was looking at the beginning, but it gives me a basis for some more experimentation moving into the future. And that's going to do it for the video today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, as always, make sure you forward those to me. Remember, if you purchase anything from Optics Planet, be sure to use my discount code, which is... And if you use that discount code, it's good for 7% off your purchase from Optics Planet. Also, I want to say thanks to House of Pain Munitions for supplying the ammunition for today's test. As always, you can go to House of Pain, either House of Pain Munitions or House of Pain Armament, and use my discount code there, and that'll save you some money off your purchase from House of Pain. And don't forget the Target sponsor, folks. They provided the targets that I used today. Go to Targets online, check out their inventory, and see if they have anything that's going to meet your target needs. See you next time, folks. And until then, good shooting. Bye-bye.